I woke up with a taste of smoke in my mouth, heart hammering. Sure, I'd been screaming until I realized the room was quiet, perfectly still, and the air was cold. The dream was already fading, but one detail wouldn't let go. A door in my house that doesn't exist. And when I got up to check, the hallway looked longer than it should. If you enjoyed true horror stories whispered from the dark, don't forget to subscribe, if you dare. Welcome to Mr. BlackWhisper. The first dream was harmless. That's what I told myself. I work nights at a small regional hospital, the kind with tired carpet and vending machines that never change. On my breaks, I nap in my car because my apartment is too far to drive home and back. There's a back lot where the security lights hum and throw long shadows across empty spaces. One night, I fell asleep with my seat reclined, jacket over my eyes, hands still smelling faintly of sanitizer. In the dream, I was walking the hospital's 4th floor. The corridor was darker than it should have been, lit only by exit signs and the dim green glow from monitors behind half-closed doors. Everything was quiet, except for the soft click of my shoes. I kept passing the same room. 417. The door was open just a crack, as if someone had meant to shut it and forgot. Every time I passed, I felt the same pull, like the room was watching me. When I finally looked inside, the bed was empty. The sheets were tucked perfectly. But the heart monitor was on, and the screen showed a steady pulse, calm and consistent, like someone was lying there breathing, invisible under the blanket of air. I woke up to a blare of a horn in the parking lot and the hospital lights reflecting in my windshield. My throat was dry. My phone said 3:12 a.m. I went back inside, walked the 4th floor to clear my head. Room numbers ran in neat sequence. 411, 413, 415, 419, number 417. I stood there too long, staring at the space between 419 like it might ripple, like a door might remember it was supposed to exist. Then my pager buzzed. Code blue, 3rd floor. I told myself it was nothing. A dream picking up the rhythm of my job, the way my body lived in fluorescent light and bad coffee. But later that night, a patient was transferred up to the 4th floor. Room assignment came through on the computer, 417. I watched the number on the screen as if it was a typo that might correct itself if I blinked, but it stayed. I walked down the corridor past 415, toward the spot where there should have been nothing but a wall. And there it was. A door with a brushed metal handle and a small plaque screwed into the paint, like it had been there for years. 417. The air around it felt different, cooler, quieter, like the hum of the lights avoided it. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. The monitor inside was already beeping, slow and steady, like a heart that had never stopped. The next morning, when the day staff arrived, they told me the patient in 417 never showed up. They told me there is number 417, but I still know where the door is. And sometimes, when I pass that stretch of hallway, I swear I can hear a calm breathing behind the wall, waiting for me to look in again. I try not to sleep in my car anymore. I try not to dream, 'cause now I understand the first dream wasn't imaginary. It was an invitation. And the hospital didn't build that room. Something else did. The second dream started like a joke my brain was playing. I'd moved into a rental house outside town, cheap, old, quiet. The kind of place that creaks when the temperature drops. The kind of place with a backyard that disappears into trees. The first night there, I dreamed I was standing in my kitchen, holding a mug, watching rain tap the window. Everything looked exactly right. The chipped corner of the countertop, the faint stain on the ceiling from a long-fixed leak, the refrigerator's low mechanical sigh. Except for one thing, the back door was open, just a few inches. I remember thinking, in the dream, that I must have forgotten to lock it after taking out the trash, and then I noticed the doormat. It was upside down. I woke up with my sheets twisted around my legs, the house silent except for the ticking of the old wall clock. I laughed under my breath. A stupid detail. Still, I got up and walked to the kitchen. The back door was shut, locked. The doormat was right side up. I went back to bed. The next night, the dream returned. Same kitchen, same rain, same mug in my hand, though I don't own a mug like that. The back door was open again. The doormat was upside down again. This time, in the dream, I stepped closer. I could smell wet earth and old leaves. I could feel a cold draft curling along the floor like fingers. Outside was darkness, thick and close, like the night was pressed against the doorway. Something shifted out there. Not a shape, not a person, just a change in the way the darkness sat. I woke up and sat upright, holding my breath. From downstairs, I heard the softest sound, like rubber scraping wood. I stayed still. Then, very slowly, the sound stopped. I didn't move until dawn. In the morning, I checked the back door. Locked, no marks, no damage, but the doormat was upside down. I felt my stomach drop in a slow, heavy way, like my body understood before my mind did. I flipped it over and stared at the underside. There were faint footprints in the dust, bare feet, small, like a child's, but the toes were too long, too many joints. The imprint looked wrong, like someone had tried to mimic a foot from memory and failed. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with my phone in my hand and the bedroom door locked, listening to the house settle. Around 2 a.m., I heard the back door handle turn, not rattle, turn. A slow, careful movement, like someone knew exactly how much pressure to apply. Then a pause. Then the soft scrape again, moving across the kitchen floor. I wanted to believe it was an animal, a raccoon, anything. But animals don't stop in the middle of a room and stand there, perfectly silent, as if listening for your breathing. My bedroom door didn't open, stayed locked. But I heard something shift on the other side of it, close enough that the air felt heavier. And then I heard the quietest whisper, not words, just the sound of air shaped by a mouth that was too close to the wood. Like someone practicing the idea of speech. In the morning, my phone showed no missed calls. My back door was still locked, and my bedroom door had a smear near the handle as if something damp had pressed there waiting. I moved out 2 days later, but wherever I go, I still check doormats, because sometimes, in the corner of my eye, I'll see one flipped upside down, and I'll feel the memory of that careful, patient hand on a handle. The third dream came during a long stretch of highway work. I was doing overnight maintenance for a county contractor paint lines, replace signs, patch potholes. It's lonely work, the kind where the world feels abandoned, like everyone else is asleep in a different reality. One night, after hours of driving between job sites, I pulled into a rest stop just to close my eyes for 10 minutes. In the dream, I was still driving. Same road, same empty lanes, same reflective signs glowing in my headlights. But there was a car behind me, always at the same distance. Not gaining, not falling back, just there. Its headlights were too bright, too white, like the light didn't belong to a normal bulb. I sped up in the dream. So did it. I slowed down. It matched me perfectly, as if my speedometer was connected to its will. Then, in the dream, my rearview mirror shifted slightly, like someone had reached from the back seat and adjusted it. I saw my own face in the mirror, and behind my face, in the back seat, there was someone sitting upright, calm, hands folded, staring forward as if they owned the space. I woke up, gasping, hand flying to the rearview mirror in my real truck. The cab was empty. My breath came in sharp little bursts. My skin felt clammy. I looked into the side mirror. A car sat behind me in the rest stop parking lot, headlights on, bright, white, not moving. At first I thought it was coincidence. Then the driver's side door opened. No one stepped out. The door just opened and stayed that way, like the car was exhaling. I started my engine, pulled out. The car pulled out behind me. Same distance, same lights. I told myself it was just another night worker. Someone driving the same direction, nothing more. But every time I changed lanes, the car matched me. Every time I adjusted my speed, it matched me. It never passed. It never fell back. It stayed in the exact spot where, in the dream, it had waited. I called my supervisor and kept my voice steady. Asked if anyone else was on my route. He told me no. The radio crackled with static as if it was amused by my question. I took the next exit and turned into a gas station, pulling into a spot near the front where the lights were brightest. The car followed and stopped behind me, blocking me in. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles ached. Then my rearview mirror shifted again, not by my hand. By itself. A small adjustment. A deliberate one. And in the glass, I saw the back seat. This time, there was no figure. There was just a shape pressed against the window from the outside, like a face trying to look in. The features were blurred by condensation, like the glass was breathing. And then, slowly, the shape lifted a hand and tapped once, gently, against the window. I threw my truck into drive, scraped my bumper against the curb, and tore out of the lot. When I looked back, the car was still there, but its headlights were off now. The gas station lights reflected on its windshield like a blind eye. I drove until the sun rose. The next day, I checked my dashcam footage. I needed proof. I needed to know I wasn't losing my mind. The footage showed an empty road, no car behind me, no headlights. But at one point, around 3:17 a.m., the camera captured my rearview mirror shifting slightly. And for one frame, just one there, was a reflection of a face where my back seat should have been. Not behind me, in the seat itself. The fourth dream was softer, almost sweet. It was about my mother. She passed 2 years ago, and I still dream about her sometimes. In those dreams, she's alive, healthy, busy in the kitchen, humming the same songs from my childhood. This dream began like that. I walked into her old apartment, the one she'd lived in for decades. It smelled like warm rice and hand soap. The light was golden, gentle, forgiving. She was standing at the sink, back to me, washing dishes. I felt relief flood through me in the dream, the kind of relief that makes you want to cry. I took a step forward. Then she turned. And her face was wrong. Not in a grotesque way, not in a monster way, in a subtle, devastating way. Her eyes were too alert, too sharp, like someone pretending to be tired but forgetting how. Her smile held for half a second too long. And when she spoke, her mouth shaped my name perfectly. But the sound that came out was not her voice. It was my voice. I woke up with tears on my face and my own name still ringing in my ears. I sat in the dark, breathing slowly, reminding myself it was grief. My brain mixing memory with longing. But then my phone buzzed. A voicemail notification. No missed call, just a voicemail. I stared at it for a long time before pressing play. There was silence at first, a faint background hum, like a room with bad wiring. Then a soft clink, like dishes touching. Then my name, spoken clearly. In my mother's voice, not a recording from years ago. Not a familiar clip. It sounded fresh, close, like she was in the room. And behind her voice, faintly, there was my own voice whispering the same thing a half second later, as if echoing her words. I deleted the voicemail. My hands shook. The notification came back an hour later. Another voicemail, same number. Unknown. This time, I didn't play it. I turned off my phone and sat in the quiet until dawn. When I finally checked my messages, there was a text from an unsaved number. Just 4 words. Stop answering in dreams. The fifth dream was the most ordinary. I dreamed I was doing laundry. That's it. A basement laundromat in my apartment building. White tile floor, fluorescent lights, machines thumping in dull rhythm. The air smelled like detergent and damp fabric. In the dream, I loaded my clothes into a dryer and started it. The dryer door clicked shut. The machine began to spin. Then the light above me flickered once. And in that flicker, I saw a shadow behind me in the glass of the vending machine. I turned, expecting to see a neighbor. No one was there. I looked back at the vending machine glass. The reflection showed me standing alone. But the dryer behind me, my dryer, had a hand pressed against the inside of the door. A palm flattened against the spinning glass, fingers splayed as if someone was trapped inside, pushing outward. I woke up with my heart pounding and my mouth tasting like metal. I was sweaty, tangled in sheets, the room dim and silent. It took me a full minute to remember I wasn't in the basement. And then, from somewhere below my apartment, I heard the low thump-thump of a dryer running. I don't do laundry at night. I never do. The building's laundry room closes at 10. I lay still, listening. The dryer kept running. Thump, thump. Then, beneath that rhythm, there was something else. A soft, repetitive tapping. Like fingernails against glass. I got up, barefoot, and stood at my apartment door. The hallway was empty. The tapping continued, faint but steady, coming from the stairwell that led down to the laundry room. I didn't want to go. Every part of me said, don't go. But my body moved anyway, slow, careful, as if I was sleepwalking through my own fear. The stairwell was colder than usual. The air smelled damp. The laundry room door at the bottom was slightly open, just a few inches. The exact way it had been in my dream. Inside, one dryer was running. The door was latched shut. The machine shook gently with each rotation. I stood in the doorway, unable to step in, and watched. The tapping came again. From inside the dryer, I took one step forward. The tapping stopped. The dryer continued to spin, steady and indifferent. My reflection in its glass door looked pale and stretched. And then, slowly, from the inside, a hand pressed against the door. Not a shadow, not a trick of light. A real hand, palm flat, fingers splayed, as if someone inside was testing the barrier between us. The dryer's thumping never changed pace. It spun like it was meant to, like it was washing something that had always belonged there. I ran up the stairs so hard, I nearly fell. The next morning, I called the landlord. I demanded the laundry room be opened with maintenance. They told me no one had used the dryers overnight. They told me the laundry room door locks automatically. When we went down there, every dryer was off. And the one I'd seen running had its lint trap pulled out and resting on top. Like someone had cleaned it carefully after finishing. Inside the trap, caught in the mesh, was something thin and pale. A fingernail. The sixth dream didn't feel like a dream at all. It felt like memory. I dreamed I was lying in my own bed, in my own room, staring at the ceiling. The fan above me turned slowly, cutting the air into soft, repetitive shapes. I couldn't move. Sleep paralysis, I thought in the dream, even as the dream insisted it was real. My eyes shifted toward the bedroom door. It was open. It shouldn't have been. I always close it. The hallway beyond was dark, but the darkness wasn't empty. It had weight. It had presence. Something stood just outside the room, not entering, not leaving, simply waiting. I tried to speak. My throat refused. Then the thing in the hallway took one step forward. The floor didn't creak. The air didn't change, but I felt it come closer the way you feel a storm before it arrives. It moved again, slow, careful. And in the faint light from the street lamp outside my window, I saw that it wasn't a figure at all. It was a shape made of angles and folds, like clothing hanging wrong, like a person wearing someone else's posture. It stopped at my doorway. and then, as if it were being polite, it leaned its head slightly to the side, studying me. I woke up. I was in my bed. In my room, the fan turning slowly overhead. I couldn't move. My eyes went to the door. It was open. The hallway was dark, and something stood there, perfectly still, as if it had been waiting for me to wake up properly. It didn't rush, didn't lunge. It took one step forward, the same step I'd seen in the dream. And that's when I understood the pattern I'd been ignoring. The dreams weren't warning me about things that might happen. They were rehearsals. They were previews. They were the world showing me, gently, what it planned to do. The shape in the hallway tilted its head. And in the silence that followed, I felt something settle inside my chest, cold and certain. Not fear. Recognition. Because I knew, in that moment, I had dreamed it first, and now it was here to collect what I'd already seen. I never closed my eyes again without wondering what was waiting on the other side. And the worst part is this: sometimes when you wake up, you're still dreaming.